Taking revenge, the Iowa women's basketball team heads to their second straight Final Four.
Honoring history, Iowa City hopes to preserve a historic building. Set the stage, annual music and lit festival is ready for showtime.
Eyes to the sky, there's something to be on the lookout for today, and it's not rain or snow.
All that and more
coming up right now on DITV.
Good morning from Iowa City. It's Wednesday, April 3rd, and I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And I'm Colin Carruthers.
And the third member of our team, DITV's Kara Doolin, is live outside to tell us today's weather story.
Yeah, guys, it's pretty chilly out here today, and it looks like it'll stay that way all day. I'm live now outside Hancher Auditorium, where it is currently 33 degrees and snowing. It's only going to get to 39 degrees today, and it'll cool back down to 36 degrees tonight. It'll also be incredibly windy into Thursday, which will have a high of 45 degrees and a low of 30 degrees. There is a silver lining to all this rain and snow, though, as there is something to look up in the sky for. I'll have more on what that is later, along with the rest of your forecast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Kara. Now for our top story of the day. Iowa broke viewing records again in a revenge game in the Elite Eight. DITV Sports Director Michael Merrick was in New York to experience the tension.
It was the most anticipated game in women's basketball history, and somehow it lived up to the hype. A rematch of last year's national championship game saw the Iowa Hawkeyes and LSU Tigers go back and forth from the start until Iowa pulled away in the fourth quarter and won it 94-87, punching their ticket to their second straight Final Four.
You live for moments like this. You're a competitor and you step on the court, you better be ready to go.
I'm just extremely grateful for this group of young women we have. They're just amazing. You know, everybody at the beginning of the year kept saying, oh, you know, Iowa lost so much. They lost all this offense and 2 starters, and everybody kept focusing on that, and we kept focusing on what we had.
I think the belief that we have in each other kind of speaks volumes, and I think we just kept telling each other, like, rise above everything that could happen in the game. Just worry about ourselves, really focus on the team, focus on our circle, and, you know, that will bring great success, and it was, and it worked.
Caitlin Clark showed why many consider her the GOAT, putting up an insane 41 points and 12 assists. On top of that, Kate Martin added a 20-piece, and Addie O'Grady was the defensive anchor for the Hawkeyes all night long.
I mean, Caitlin, I feel like I've talked about her, like, used every word imaginable to describe her. Her distant shots were amazing tonight. Her logo threes were incredible. You know, I mean, how do you defend that, right? It's like, it is nearly impossible.
I would honestly thought a few more were going to go into. My shot felt pretty good tonight, and I was able to, you know, get to my step back quite a bit and get some good open looks, and you know, lucky enough they went down. With
Hannah Stolke getting into foul trouble early, the Hawkeyes had to turn to junior center Addie O'Grady to try and guard one of college basketball's best, Angel Reese. O'Grady responded by having one of her best defensive performances of her career and helped the Hawkeyes punch their ticket back to the Final Four.
Addie O'Grady went in and played some good minutes tonight for us. She had 15 minutes, I think. She did a nice job in there when Hannah got into some foul trouble.
Addie played amazing. I'm so proud of her. She stepped in and stepped up, and I think she gave Angel some fits for sure.
It feels really good. I mean, getting to help this team go back to the Final Four is just a crazy feeling. Whatever I could do to help, I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's all you want to do is win, and I'm glad that I could have helped the team in any way that I could.
I just feel so grateful. I'm so happy for Addie because, you know, she's had a tough role, and it just was a really good night.
And while O'Grady's numbers don't jump off the page if you just look at the stat sheet, she'd finish with 5 points, 4 rebounds, and adding a block as well. It would be her height, tenacity, and effort that were more than enough to punch the Hawkeyes' ticket back to the Final Four for the second straight season. From the Elite Eight in Albany, New York, Michael Merrick, DITV Sports.
Same-sex marriage was legalized in Iowa on April 3, 2009. This year marks the 15th year anniversary of this legalization. Daily Iowan News editor Isabel Folland is live in the newsroom now. Isabel, you took a look into how marriage equality in the state has changed in the last 15 years. What did you learn from older members of the LGBTQ community who were in same-sex relationships prior to 2009?
Yeah, thanks, Hannah. I talked with Jen and Dawn Barbarowski, who have been together since around the 1990s and were college sweethearts. They traveled all across Iowa in the early 2000s to educate rural communities about same-sex couples and to change hearts and minds. The thought of them getting married as a lesbian couple never crossed their mind, and attitudes around the topic have changed a lot in the last 15 years. However, there are now some new fears about the future of marriage equality. Every year, there's legislation in the state that relates to marriage equality. Last year, a bill tried to define marriage in the state constitution as between a human biological male and a human biological female. Despite this, though, all of my sources did express hope that the majority of residents in Iowa would like to see their neighbors live happy lives, no matter who they love. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Isabel. Last night at Iowa City Hall, the Iowa City transgender community spoke out at the City Council's meeting about their general demands and expectations for City Council.
We have been told our entire lives that if we want to make change, we need to get involved in local politics. And that's what we're here doing. But now that we're here, now that we are demanding to be protected to and listened to, what are you doing in response?
While they expressed their love for Iowa City, they also expressed how they want them to do better for the trans community in Iowa City going forward. Some of their main concerns were making Iowa City a sanctuary city, which involves non-enforcement of other states' laws against trans people. They want Iowa City to become a place for those seeking a better life and wanting things like gender-affirming care, general housing, and safe local public transit. Also at City Council, various opinions were heard on the decision to give the Slazak building, which holds Pigley's Pizza and Laundromania, a historical landmark designation.
A historical landmark designation preserves the historical buildings in Iowa City by placing them under a new zone that requires a historical review process before any changes are made.
It's important to protect these buildings because they could come down at any time. And once they're gone, they're gone.
Slezak Hall, seen behind me, was nominated for a historical landmark designation due to its significance to Iowa City's culture, its integrity in location design and workmanship, its association with events that connect to our broad patterns of history, and the distinctive features that embolden a type of construction.
And you can think of the historic buildings we've retained in town as kind of like the photo album of our history.
Built in 1875, the Slezak building served as a meeting place and cultural hub for Iowa City's Eastern European immigrant community.
So it's not only an architectural symbol of those immigrants, but then it was also built in order for those immigrants in the surrounding county to have a place to go.
While many members of the community are in favor of the building gaining a historical landmark designation, the owner, Gary Scarda, is against this idea.
For the city to come along and say, and the Historic Preservation Committee or whatever, to say that I cannot do anything with my property because it's historic. It was a joke.
Ultimately, the City Council decided to defer the vote to April 16th to allow time to meet with the Planning and Zoning Committee. From Iowa City, Madison Johnson, DITV.
And coming up later, a furry friend in Missouri provides emotional support to the community.
But first, let's take a look back outside with DITV's Kara Doolin for the forecast for the week ahead.
Thanks, guys, and today is National Spot a Rainbow Day, but we might have to celebrate it later this week because we're still looking at wind and snow for tomorrow. Friday will be bright and sunny with a high of 51 degrees and a low of 29 degrees. This weekend will be partly cloudy, but will warm up even more with highs in the mid-50s and lows in the low 40s. Monday and Tuesday, the weather will continue to climb with highs in the high 60s and lows in the mid-40s. I am definitely looking forward to seeing the sun and maybe a rainbow at the end of the week. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Karen. On to the next step. A key piece on Iowa men's basketball team has declared for the NBA draft. DITV's AJ Reeser has what lies ahead for Peyton Sanford.
Peyton Sandford was not a name on many NBA draft boards entering the 2023-24 season, but after a tremendous campaign, Sandford's childhood dream could come true in June.
He was like at the top of the scouting report, had a big picture of him. You know, in fact, our coach who did the scout referred to him as their Caitlin Clark.
Peyton, he had a hard one in transition on a pull-up. That's a really hard shot, but he makes those.
Sandford's name is still floating around the middle of the second round on NBA big boards, but he announced in a statement yesterday that he still plans to maintain his eligibility, which means if he is not drafted, he can come back for his senior season at Iowa.
Felt like I was messing around, but, I was still locked into the game plan and just getting to my spot, shooting it confidently, just, doing what I could, having fun with the guys, and, I had a blast, and I think it looked like it too.
The NBA draft will take place in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclays Center on June 26th and 27th. From the University of Iowa, AJ Reister, DITV Sports.
Thanks, AJ. And recognizing history, sophomore Jalen Adams has been named NCAA Softball's Big Ten Co-Pitcher of the Week. Over the weekend, Adams picked up a no-hitter against Michigan State while shutting them out in 2 of their 3 matchups. Along with this being her first time receiving this award, this was also her first career no-hitter and the 19th no-hitter in program history. And the Carver Circle is under construction, and DITV's Sydney Goldberg is live inside Carver Hawkeye Arena for an update on the ongoing campaign.
Thanks, Colin. I'm currently in front of ongoing construction of the new tunnel inside Carver that will lead to the new wrestling facility. The University of Iowa recently released new images from the facility that is currently still a work in progress. The Carver Circle project will be the new home to the men's and women's Iowa wrestling team training facility. The project is funded entirely by gifts in hopes to build for the future, commemorate the past, and provide for the present. This new facility will house an expanded training space as well as a Hall of Champions to showcase the program's history and success. This space also hopes to hold the U.S. Olympic Trials and the United World Wrestling Cup in upcoming years. Although this new facility is being built, it will not be used to hold competitions as Carver will continue to be the home for all matches. Back to you.
Thanks, Sydney. Hearing the art, the Mission Creek Music Festival returns to Iowa City tomorrow to showcase music and literature around the community. DITV's Julia Rhodes is live outside the Angler Theater now with what the weekend has in store.
I'm here at Hancher Auditorium, which will be one of the many venues hosting events this weekend. This year will be the 19th annual installment of the festival, and musical headliners will include Nico Case, OCs, Indigo De Souza, and George Clanton.
Mission Creek is definitely like a celebration, a really unique celebration of especially the literature and music community of Iowa City. It is, when I say unique, it's because I've never seen a lit community like Iowa City.
The artists are all independent-minded and looking to deliver a message through their art. The 3-day festival aims to showcase and deliver a diverse range of voices in the Iowa City community and promote coexistence in the future. Mission Creek tickets are on sale now as the festival kicks off tomorrow and will go through Saturday with lots of music and literary arts to enjoy. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Julia. Motivated by greatness, many people have paid tribute to Caitlin Clark, but one Iowa alum took a different approach. Rob Merritt produced a YouTube parody called B-Ball Wizard, the Caitlin Clark song, based on the Who song Pinball Wizard. Merritt's friend was watching an Iowa women's basketball game and listening to Pinball Wizard when the idea struck him, and he suggested that Merritt utilize it.
And I sort of could see the lyrics in my head, and then I went back to him like a few days later and I was like, well, it's your fault because I'm actually going to do it now.
Video as a tribute to everything the Iowa women's basketball team and Caitlin Clark have done for the state of Iowa and the sport of basketball. Easter bunnies, step aside. Willow the bunny is here. In Joplin, Missouri, a 15-pound bunny served as a service animal helping out both kids and schools and seniors in nursing homes and hospitals. If you're not feeling hoppy, Willow is always around on her Facebook for emotional support. Thank you Thank you for joining us online or listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We're here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Friday.